Dear students, a very good morning to you all. I welcome you all into the industrial pharmacy first. Dear student, we are on to the liquid orals. Already we have started this and we had covered in liquid oral the elixir, syrups, emulsions and their details. Now today we will discuss again another type of liquid oral formulation that is said to be the suspension. Now, what is suspension and what are the details we have to cover in our today's lecture? Now, after going through today's lecture, you will be come to know that what are the suspensions, what are their advantages and disadvantages, what will be the theories of the suspension, what are the flocculated, deflocculated suspensions, their properties and the differences between the flocculated and deflocculated suspension, the formulation, evaluation, packaging and storage of the pharmaceutical suspensions. Now, in order to study all these details, our lesson plan that will move like this: introduction to the suspension, their merits, demerits, their classification, the ideal properties of a suspension, theories of a suspension, the flocculated and deflocculated suspension, formulation aspects of suspension. Last but not the least, the evaluation, stability and packaging along with the storage for the suspension formulation. Now let's go through the introduction of the suspension. What the suspensions are, no doubt these are the liquid oral. That means this has to be taken by the oral route and their nature is into the liquid form. That's why these are said to be the liquid oral. Their nature is liquid and they will contain the two different phases. That's why these are called as the biphasic dosage form. Now they will contain the solid phase, they will contain the liquid phase. The solid phase, that is nothing but the particles, that is nothing but the powdered form, and the liquid phase, that is nothing but the vehicle. So what this suspension is, it is a pharmaceutical suspension and is a coarse dispersion in which the insoluble solid particles, these are dispersed in a liquid medium. The particle size is greater than 0.1 micrometer. Now, what are the advantages of this suspension? Why we need to go for it? We have to go for suspension in order to improve the chemical stability of certain drugs. Like say for example the procaine penicillin G. It is more stable in case of the suspension form. Now the suspension we are selecting because of the bioavailability aspects. Now the order of exhibiting the higher rate of bioavailability, that is you can see as it has been shown in this slide. So solution, they will be having greater bioavailability than that of the suspension, then that of the capsule, then that of the compressed tablet, and then that of the coated tablet. So our suspension, that is having the greater bioavailability than that of the capsule tablet formulation and less than that of the soluble solution. The suspension that is used in order to mask the taste of the drug. Let us say, for example, the chloramphenicol palmitate suspension. The test that can be masked as far as the chloramphenicol is concerned. This is also used in order to control the duration and the onset of action, like say the protamine zinc insulin suspension. We had already discussed in sufficient detail as far as this protamine zinc insulin suspension is concerned while studying the pre-formulation, because in order to retard the duration of action and to get the quick onset of action, we are using the combination form. We are using the amorphous and the crystalline form. What will be the disadvantages? The disadvantages that are like say uniform and accurate dose cannot be achieved unless the suspension these are packed in the unit dosage form. Because as it is the liquid dosage form, so the first limitation which is associated with the general liquid dosage form, that it is very difficult to measure the dose. Second thing is that as it will contain the distributed solid particle, if they are not evenly distributed, we cannot achieve the uniform dosing. Next is the stability problem. Stability problem in the sense that it will subject to that of the sedimentation. It will subject to that of the process of caking. And this sedimentation, this caking, that will create the problem of the redistribution. The suspension that is difficult to formulate. Again, that is the formulation limitation. As it is packed into the bottles, so it is bulky, therefore sufficient care that must be taken during the process of handling and transportation of the suspension. So all these are the disadvantages associated with the suspension kind of dosage form. Now, suspensions, these are going to be classified on various bases, like say based on routes of administration, based on size of the solid particle that is distributed, based on the electrokinetic nature of the solid particle, and based on the proportion of the solid particles. If you see the classification based on the routes of administration, they are classified as oral suspension, which are to be taken by oral route, then externally applied suspension, which are applied onto the skin, then parenteral suspension, which are to be injected into the bloodstream. Based on the size of the solid particles, they are classified as colloidal suspension, where the size of particle that is less than that of the 1 micron, and coarse suspension. So the coarse suspension that will indicate the particle size that is greater than that of the 1 micron. Based on the electrokinetic nature of the solid particles, there are flocculated suspension and the deflocculated suspension. Based on the proportion of the solid particles, dilute suspension, which will contain only up to 2 to 10% weight by volume of the solid particles, and concentrated suspension, they will contain up to 50% of the weight by volume solids. Now the question is that why we should go for the suspension formulation. The answer lies in this particular slide. Why to go for suspension? Because in order to mask the bitter taste, the drug can be formulated into the suspension form. The insoluble form of drug that may prolong the action of the drug, like say the protamine zinc insulin suspension. The drugs that have very low solubility are usually formulated as suspension. So solubility limitation, again that is the reason for going for the suspension dosage form. Chemically unstable drugs can be formulated. Chemically stability that can be ensured in case of the liquid form. So the chemical unstable drugs, they need to be formulated as a suspension dosage form. What will be the ideal property for a suspension? An ideal suspension that should have all these properties. The particle size that should remain fairly constant. There should be a uniform particle size. They should not form hard cake. Upon settling, upon storage, they should not form the thick hard cake at the bottom, and it should get easily redispersed. Consistency should be uniform after shaking. Once it has been shaken, the whole content of the sediment that should get uniformly distributed, should settle slowly and should be redispersible upon gentle container shaking. The slow settling that will helpful in order to get the even and uniform dosing, whereas easy redistribution, again, that will be useful in order to get the uniform distribution so as to ensure the uniform dose of the drug. It should be radially pourable and evenly form its container. So its consistency, its viscosity should be such that it should be easily pourable. Theories of suspensions and understanding the sedimentation. So the theory that will consist of V is equal to 2R square into bracket sigma minus rho into bracket complete G divided by 9N. So V, that is nothing but the speed of sedimentation, or that is nothing but the radius of the particles. Sigma and delta, these are nothing but the densities of the particles and the continuous phase of the vehicle. G, that is nothing but the gravitational force, and M, that is nothing but the viscosity. So interfacial tension or the interfacial phenomena, it is due to the particle size. Smaller will be this particle size, that will indicate the larger surface area, and if surface area will be larger, that will be associated with the greater surface free energy. So if greater will be the surface free energy, that will makes the product or the suspension thermodynamically unstable. So therefore the system tend to reduce the surface free energy, which may be accomplished by reduction of the interfacial tension, and this reduction into the interfacial tension that can be achieved by the use of the surfactants. So therefore surfactants, they will play a significant role in order to improve the stability of the suspension. Zeta potential. Zeta potential, that is directly proportional to that of the stability of the suspension. Higher will be the value for the zeta potential, more will be the stability. So always for the suspension has zeta potential that is preferable. Now here is the DLVO theory. Now this DLVO theory, that is associated with the van der Waals forces and the electrostatic repulsion. These forces, these are responsible for the attraction, and the electrostatic forces, they will indicate the repulsion. Now, if attraction is there, there will be minimum potential energy, and if repulsion is there, there is a higher potential energy. So stability of the suspension, that will depend on the van der Waals attractive and the electrical double layer repulsive forces. The van der Waals forces, that will depend on the chemical nature and size of the particle, and the electrostatic repulsive forces, they will depend on the density, surface charge, and thickness of double layer. Brownian moment. The Brownian moment, that will prevent the sedimentation by keeping the dispersed material in random motion. So the particle, they can go on continuous movement in the random fashion. So because of their continuous movement, they cannot aggregate, they cannot come closer, they cannot form a clump. So therefore, the stability of the suspension or the redistributability of the suspension, that will be maintained. So Brownian moment, that will depend on the density of the dispersed phase, density of the dispersed medium, and viscosity of the dispersed phase. So the optimum density of dispersed phase, dispersed medium, and viscosity of the dispersed medium, that will ensure the optimum suspension and its stability. Flocculated suspension. Now floccles, these are nothing but the aggregates of the particles. So because of that aggregates of the particle, there is a quick sedimentation, and the sediment that is having larger volume, and it can be easily redistributed. The flocculated suspension that will shows the solid particles of dispersed phase, they will aggregate, leading to network-like structure of solid particles in the dispersion medium. So the aggregate, they will form no hard cake. These aggregates, they will settle rapidly due to their size as the rate of sedimentation is high and the sediment form is loose and easily redistributable. So exactly opposite is the condition associated with that of the deflocculated suspensions. So flocculated, it will exhibit the plastic or the pseudoplastic behavior. The sediment is easily dispersed by small amount of agitation. The pressure distribution is uniform. The sediment is loosely packed. The loose agglomerates are there. The rate of sedimentation is high and rapid, and the viscosity is nearly same at different depth levels. So this is the deflocculated suspension. Deflocculated suspension, they do not form the aggregate. They will take much more time in order to settle down. Once they will get settled down, they will form a thin cake at its bottom. There is no space between these particles, and therefore it is very difficult to redistribute. So the solid particle, they will exist as separate entities. The sediment form the hard cake, and the rate of sedimentation, that is slow. Again, in the same way, it is very difficult to redistribute. So there is no clear-cut boundary between the sediment and the supernatant. So all these are the properties for the flocculated suspension. The particle size is less, rate of settling is very low, and the supernatant liquid is cloudy even though the majority of the particle, they have been settled. The sediment that will, after some period of time, they will become very closely packed and a non-dispersible cake is formed. So there is a correction into this heading. Here actually it made the deflocculated suspension. So all these are the properties for the deflocculated suspension, because the deflocculated suspension that will having the slow rate of sedimentation, but once it will get settled, it will form the hard cake and it is very difficult to redistribute. So how to formulate the suspension? In order to form the suspension, we require the drug, we require the vehicle, wetting agent, compounds, pH regulators, and the other additives. The drug, that is the API, vehicle, that is the suspension medium, and compound that will allowing the control of the stability and the sedimentation, some pH regulators along with the additives like the flavor, color, and the test preservatives. Drugs, generally the API with the defined size distribution of the particle of the powder, API with defined chemical and physical stability and defined surface charge, that is preferable. Vehicle suspensions, the distilled water or the deionized water, the non-aqueous vehicle that is used for the topical use. But for internal use, the water and the deionized water is used. The structured vehicles, these are pseudoplastic or plastic in nature, and it is desirable that they should have the thixotropy that is associated. Wetting agent, the interfacial tension between the solids and the liquids, that must be reduced so that the adsorbed air that is displaced from the solid surface by the liquid. So for that, the wetting agents are used. So the examples are the hydrophilic colloids, solvents, surface active agents. The surfactants, generally the surfactant with the HLB values of about 7 to 9. These are used, and examples are the polysorbate, queens, sorbitan esters, PANS, sodium lauryl sulfate. Hydrocolloids, the coating of the solid hydrophobic particle that will be carried out with the help of the hydrophilic colloid. Examples are the acacia bentonite tragacanth and the cellulase derivatives. Solvents, the solvent, they will reduce the liquid air interfacial tension, and the examples are the alcohol, glycerol, and the glycols. There is need to add the flocculating agent. The most widely used electrolytes, like say the sodium salt of acetates, sodium salts of phosphates, and sodium salts of citrates. These are widely used. Flocculating agent are what? Or what is the degree of flocculation? It is the ratio of the sedimentation volume of the flocculated suspension F to the sedimentation volume of the deflocculated suspension. So degree of flocculation is equal to the ratio of flocculated suspension, its sedimentation volume, to that of the sedimentation volume of the deflocculated suspension. And the flocculating agents, these are added. They may be electrolytes, they may be surfactants, they may be polymers. What are the examples of the polymeric flocculating agent? The gum tragacanth, like say the ionic surface active agent and the non-ionic surface active agent. Starch, alginate, cellulose derivative, tragacanth, carbomers, and silicate. These are the polymers that can be used to control the flocculation. Structured vehicle, the vehicle that will offer the thickness, that will offer the viscosity. These are said to be the structured vehicle. The thixotropic compounds, polymers like say the acacia, which are pseudoplastic or plastic in nature. These are used as a structured vehicle. The thixotropic compounds, polymers form a three-dimensional gel-shaped network, and that gel network that will offer the structure. That's why these are said to be the structured vehicle. The three-dimensional gel network structure which entrap the particles so that ideally no settling that will be occurring. Suspending agent, in order to keep the solid particles into the suspended state, we need to add the suspending agent. Suspending agents, they will increase the viscosity of the vehicle, thereby slowing down the sedimentation rate. Most agents that can form thixotropic gels, which are semi-solid on standing but flow radially after shaking. Classification of the suspending agent. These are classified as the polysaccharides. Examples are the acacia, tragacanth, alginate, and the starch. Some of the carbomers, like say the carboxymethyl cellulose (CMC), some water-soluble cellulose, like say methyl cellulose (MC), cellacol, methocel, hydroxyethyl cellulose, natrosol, carmelose sodium, and microcrystalline cellulose. Colloidal silicon dioxide aerosols. Again, these are the examples. Some coloring agents are needed to be added. Why these are added? Because they will improve, they will impart the desired color to the suspension and improve the elegance. Preservatives, they are added to prevent the microbial growth. The parabens and the benzoates, these are very commonly used. The pH can be monitored by using the different buffer systems. What will be the method of preparation? The dispersion of the active ingredient and stabilization of the dispersed solid, that can be carried out with the help of the dry milling. Now, in order to get the required particle size, there is a need to go for the milling. Add it to a low viscosity portion of the product, then add wetting agent to it, and then carry out the process of addition of the electrolytes. Preparation of vehicle and addition of the dispersion in the vehicle. To the above prepared solution, the polymer is added and mixture to stand up to for 24 hours. The dispersion of the active ingredient is added. The mixture is then homogenized. Then remaining ingredient, these are added, and final mixing that should be carried out. What will be the methods of evaluation for these suspensions? The suspensions that can be evaluated with the help of different evaluation methods. So the evaluation that is for say appearance, color, odor, and the test. So just by physical appearance of the suspension, we can go for this kind of evaluation. So the methods of evaluation for the suspension, that is color, odor, and the test. The next method is the particle size determination. With the help of the various methods, we can go for determining the particle size, the redistributability, then the degree of flocculation, zeta potential measurement, sedimentation volume, rheological measurement, pH, and crystal growth microscopic photography. All these are the evaluations for the suspensions. Sedimentation volume. The sedimentation volume of a suspension is expressed by the ratio of equilibrium volume of the sediment Vu to the total volume of suspension, that is the V0. Now sedimentation volume, you can see this is the upper layer of this suspension. So the whole volume, that is the V0, and how much it will going to settle down. Let's say for example, just understanding purpose up to here. So this will be the Vu. So this Vu, that is said to be the volume of the sediment, and this total volume, that is said to be the volume of the suspension. So in order to get the sedimentation volume F, we need to go for taking the ratio of the Vu divided by Vo. So Vu, that is the volume of the sediment, and Vo, that is the volume of the suspension. So the value of F, that will provide a qualitative knowledge about the physical stability of the suspension. Now this will indicate what, let's say for example, if we will be getting the value 1, so that means that will be having the good stability, and the problem of settling and the problem of caking, that will be less. And if it is less than that of the 1, that means the degree of sedimentation, that will goes on increasing. Degree of flocculation. The degree of flocculation is the ratio, and the degree of flocculation, that is represented by beta. So it is what? It is the ratio of the sedimentation volume of the flocculated suspension F to the sedimentation volume of the deflocculated suspension. Now here we need to consider this sedimentation volume, but the comparison, that is between the flocculated and the deflocculated suspension. So we have to take the ratio of sedimentation volume for the flocculated to that of the deflocculated. In the numerator, there will be a value for the sedimentation volume of the flocculated suspension, and in the denominator, there is a value for the deflocculated suspension and its volume. So this can be obtained again by the previous equation, that is the Vu divided by Vo, right? So beta, that will be given, or the degree of flocculation, that can be given by the volume of sedimentation, to that of the total volume of the suspension for deflocculated suspension divided by the volume of sediment divided by the volume of total suspension for the deflocculated suspension. So this ratio, that will give the degree of flocculation. Redispersibility, this is determined by the number of upside down inversion of the suspension contained in a measure. The smaller the number, the easier would be the redispersibility of the sediment. A number that will be greater than 15 inversions, that will indicate the caking problem. So we should have the less values, less numbers, in order to get the good redispersibility. Rheological properties, that is the measurement of the viscosity. The viscosity, that can be measured by various methods with the help of the various instruments, like say the cone and plate viscometer, cup and bob viscometer, falling sphere viscometer, and the Ostwald viscometer. Zeta potential measurement and its particle size. As I said that the zeta potential that is directly proportional to that of the stability of the suspension. So that means if we should have the higher values for the zeta potential, there will be a more stability. So the determination of the electrophoretic properties like zeta potential is useful for assessing the flocculation, since electrical charges on particles that will influence the rate of flocculation. Now, this zeta potential that can be measured by using the zeta meter. The particle size microscopic methods, these are used in order to determine it. Stability of the suspension system, the small particle size that will offer the greater surface area. So there will be a more interface between the solid and the liquid area. More viscosity that will offer the more stability, and no to the temperature fluctuations. That means a stable temperature that is to be required. If it is going to be fluctuating, then it will affect the stability. The packaging, as far as the packaging is concerned, the wide mouth containers, these are to be used. The adequate airspace above the liquid that is to be maintained in order to carry out the process of shaking. That should be stored in tight containers protected from light, like say the freezing, excessive heat and light. And that should be stored in room temperature if it is dry powder, say 25 degrees Celsius. Temperature fluctuation that should not be there. As far as the labeling is concerned, for suspension, there is a special labeling. What it is? It is the shake well before use.